All right. So I'll basically kind of just open it up a little bit, and then I'll just hand it off to Rachel, and then Krista will be here when she is out of the car. She's in the car with her mom right now. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about magnetic sponsoring. As some of you guys know who have been around for a little bit, we've utilized the book by Mike Dillard called Magnetic Sponsoring. And it really is a game changer. And Rachel was going through it earlier and she was like, whoa, we need to break this up into like multiple Zooms because there are so many deep concepts in here that are really like transformative. And I couldn't agree more. The book really was unexpectedly revolutionary for me as a leader in my journey personally. I mean, Alicia and I have this tattoo now because of it, which you can't really see because it really was something that kind of transformed and also reaffirmed a lot of the ways that I was thinking and just kind of aligning with all of this and in my life. And, you know, we talk a lot about the alpha versus beta energy. You guys probably have heard me talk a little bit about that. And that's kind of what that was derived a lot from this book. And in the beginning part of this book, which I think is the part where Rachel was really diving into, and she finally was like, well, okay, whoa, there's some deep stuff in here. And it was unexpected because it's a book about how to find your perfect recruit. It's about how to attract people that want to work with you. And so I kind of went into the book not really realizing that it was just going to like change my life, because I wasn't expecting it to have so many deep theories addressing who I was as a person in my inner core. But that's exactly what it does. And there's a reason for that. So it's called magnetic sponsoring because it's really all about magnetism. And we've talked before on leadership Zooms about the law of magnetism, that leaders have that law of magnetism where they draw people to them. And it is so important to really cultivate that magnetic energy, because when you don't have magnetic energy, you have repelling energy. And so instead of, and also too, with that, you can be a magnet to both the things you want and the things in your brain that you think you don't want. You are a magnet for the things that go on in here. So whatever you think and whoever you are at your core is what you are going to attract. You are a magnet. Things are going to come to you. They're going to stick to you. So you really want to be in charge of what you are magnetizing. Okay, does that make sense? I don't know, let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Because like I said, you want to be in charge of what you are attracting. And so what he talks about is having that alpha energy. And also he very much dispels our common misconceptions of an alpha. A lot of us tend to use it interchangeably with like peacocking, right? Like chest puffy and kind of brooding around, you know, like you run the place and you're in charge. That's not at all what it is. And so a lot of us have really strayed away from having this alpha energy because we assume it's bad, it's bossy, it's something that we're trying to avoid, but really it's actually something that we need to embody and become. And your current understanding, if that's kind of where you're thinking, if your current understanding of alpha energy is like bossy, you know, top dog kind of thing, then you're actually thinking of a toxic beta trait. Because a lot of times toxic betas walk around all puffy chested, impersonating alphas because of their insecurity. So that's what is really important to delineate when you are first not only reading this book, but when we first talk about alphas versus betas. Alphas doesn't mean I'm on top. It just means I'm on top of my shit. That's what it means. It doesn't mean I'm on top of you. I'm ahead of you. I am above you. It simply means I got my shit under control. You confident, reassured, not needing permission, not needing to borrow confidence from another person, not needing permission to go do the things that you know you need to do or want to do. It is a very steadfast, resolute state of being. Okay, that's what it means. Alphas can also be very quiet. Alphas don't have to be in your face, loud, boisterous all the time. So I know we've talked a lot about color personalities, the red, green, blue, yellow. And a lot of times it gets misconstrued that reds are automatically alphas and that yellows are automatically beta, right? Because it's like, oh, yellows are all about emotions and they cry, it's all about all this stuff. And reds are like goal oriented, get stuff done, whatever. But I'm here to tell you that the color personalities have nothing to do with alpha and beta because that's an energy. There is a difference between energy and personality. We have plenty of yellow alphas, blue alphas, green alphas, and red alphas. And you know what's really funny is because typically alphas are the most subdued. They are the calmest. Again, because it is a very resolute state of mind. They are not chaotic. They are not panicked. Because they know that whatever comes, they will handle it. They will figure it out. Doesn't mean they know all the answers. Doesn't mean they've got it all under control. They just have that really resolved sense of radical acceptance. So they're not panicked, right? Because the alpha, when you think like in the animal kingdom, alphas are the head of the pack. The head of the pack can't sit there all panicked, like, oh my God, what do we do? Where are we gonna go? Oh my God, right? They stop. Sorry, when my dog's gonna go out. And after his explosion the other day, he's gonna go out as much as he wants. Sorry, speaking of dogs and alphas, you really have to understand that it is an energy that you embody, not a personality. That's very first and foremost what I want people to understand, okay? And alpha energy is something that you should aspire to in your life, not just because of this business. You will notice that when you embody more of that energy, that things in your world start to manifest more positively in your favor. So if you're talking all about, we've talked prior to about the power of manifestation, right? You cannot manifest the things that you really want in a beta state of mind, in a beta being. Why is that? Because it is magnetic, but it is not the magnitude of the magnet you want for the things in your life. So alpha is a very large state of being. It is a very abundance mindset state of being. So it opens up greater magnitude for the things you want to magnetize. Versus when you're in our beta state of being, you're trying to manifest all these like big things of grand magnitude, but you have a state of being that's about this big, that's about this, the opening, right? Rachel talked a couple of mindsets ago about having the space available. As betas, you don't have the space available because it's filled with a lot of insecurity, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of the old tapes that are running around in your head, a lot of those things. And so I kind of challenge you guys to really get intuitive. And most people are beta. Then they kind of grow because going from beta to alpha is a very intentional journey. It does not happen on accident. You don't just do things in life and go, whoa, look at me, I'm an alpha. That's not how it works. It is a very deliberate choice and a constant effort to continually grow into that alpha state of mind, that alpha energy. And so if someone calls you whatever, if it's beta, that's not necessarily an insult. It's simply, I'm on a journey, right? They also have PreAlpha and then alpha. And a lot of us are kind of in this pre-alpha stage. A lot of you guys are in a pre-alpha stage, right? Because you're coming into your own, you're finding a really powerful sense of being, you're practicing self-development, all these things that pre-alphas do. And when a lot of people will be like, well, how do I know? And this is even in the book. And they're like, so a lot of pre-alphas will go, well, how do I know that I'm not an alpha? Just the fact that you ask that question usually signifies that you're not, because again, it's not a very resolute state of being, However, that also goes into insecure betas who were like, oh, I am alpha, and they have to tell everybody they are. Another clear indication that they're not. Because again, the more boisterous and loud and vocal you are, and the more you have to prove to people and show them that you are alpha, doesn't necessarily mean that you are. So that's kind of the basis of where he starts the book for magnetic sponsoring, because really sponsoring the people and recruiting people of that caliber, and we've talked about this now for about 2 or 3 weeks, recruiting quality people and attracting quality people. Exactly, Casey. A lion doesn't have to tell people he's a lion. And so this goes hand in hand with that. So a lot of people will say, well, how do I do that? I can give you a list of questions to ask people. I can give you a list of interview things to a process to put them through. I can tell you where they hang out. I can tell you all these things. But here's the thing, is the list of things that you are putting out there are either an alpha or a pre-alpha. And betas do not attract alphas, because alphas will look at them and go, oh, no, sir. Okay. And so again, you have to become a magnet for the things that you want. And how are you going to do that is by transforming yourself first, because you cannot attract what you are not necessarily, the energy. You can attract skills you don't have. You can attract personality traits you don't have. That's absolutely true. But again, the magnetic part is your energy, is an actual vibration. Like, I know I said this the other day on the Zoom, but like humans and things around you actually vibrate. They have a frequency. They can be measured in hertz. And when we're happier, our vibrations increase. When we're fulfilled and confident, our vibrations are higher. And vibrations are attracted to other things that vibrate at similar frequencies. So it really truly is an energy. There is a science purposefully and wonderfully made to be that way on purpose. So I'll go ahead and hand it off to Rachel so she can kind of talk to you guys a little bit about her takeaways in regards to the beta alpha thing, and also how it plays into sponsoring and recruiting other people.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, I really just, as I was reading this book, I'm like, I think we really need to slow down, like she was saying, and that I mentioned before the Zoom, like there's so much. I literally have sticky notes and highlighted, and there's some of this I really want to read verbatim, because for the people who aren't going to get the book, even if you have the book, just to kind of go over some of these concepts of what is this, how do I really look at this? I think it's really, really powerful. One thing I really just wanted to start off by saying is, I was really under the assumption, I think for a long time in my life, that alpha energy was, like Courtney was describing, as this sort of huffy puffy, take charge and just plow through people kind of energy. And I definitely have been guilty of that beta energy in my life many times over. And I definitely think that trying to aspire to be a better version of you, and then once you get to that point, then looking at, well, how can I be a magnet so that I'm not desperately drawing people and seeking people, but people seek me out and find me. And I really think that that's what he goes into in this book. One key concept for me is that, she talked about vibration. And last week I was talking about vibrating higher daily, and what can we do every single day to vibrate higher in a better mind space? How can we enjoy ourselves, our lives just better? So I did ask everybody last week for one thing that you kind of were working on, or something, and it could have been anything. It could have been food, your time, or really anything in your world that helps you vibrate more. If you have something that you worked on, please share it into the chat section. We'd love to see it. It's really helpful to know that, people are working on it. I just love to collaborate and see what people are working on. Me personally, I have been juggling, and I've been trying to be more mindful of my time and my energy and where I'm putting it. So reading a verse from my Bible every morning, I love that. That's definitely something I'm working on right now. I'm working on my attitude. That's something I work on every single day, 100%. All right, well, I'll let people chime those in. One thing I really did want to say, though, is Sometimes I think we get confused. We live in a world where we have been indoctrinated by the literature and the language of the society that we live in. We have been indoctrinated with beliefs of the way we're supposed to look, act, feel, be a parent, be a human, be a woman, be a man. And although there are a lot of people fighting for rights, it's very confusing. And when we have those viewpoints that have just been put right in front of us our whole life, it really leads to a lot of self-doubt. Um, we're really hard on ourselves. We really evaluate ourselves on such a high scale. And that's why I really liked that book last week, Vibrate Higher Daily. We need to give ourselves some space and some room to fail, to be in that space, and to ask for help when we need it. And that I think is really important. If you can't get right with yourself, you're not going to be able to magnetize people in the world. So that's really my view. And there's a few things I'd like to go into. All right, I'm going to check back with some of these comments and catch up here. Patience. That's awesome. I'm working on motivation and mindset. That's awesome. Mastering leadership and organizational development. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Mindset. I'm also new, but I'm working on improving my mindset and confidence. That's perfect. I'm working out more on mindset, self-development. I bought Think Like a Monk and Unfuck Yourself last week. I don't know if I was supposed to read that out loud, but I did anyway. Sorry for all your children ears. Trying really hard to work on me as a person and a mom, getting healthy. And it says there's realizing my value. Okay, those are awesome. I love those. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to strongly encourage you to continue to work on every area of your life. Don't do it all at once. Please don't do it all at once. You're going to burn yourself out. You can't possibly do everything all at once. All you can do is work on one thing at a time. And as long as you are walking forward, you're on the right path. Just don't take 10 steps backwards. Even if you take 10 steps backwards, take 20 steps forward. That sort of concept of, as long as your genuine momentum is moving in the right direction, you're really on the right path. Not to beat yourself up when you fall behind, because a lot of times, and a lot of things I've been learning about network marketing in general, is this roller coaster, and how if your identity is all centered around your business and you are not confident in who you are as a human being, you're going to ride that roller coaster, and there's going to be some really high highs and some really low lows. And that does not create a magnetic space of being to help those lows not be so low. And, we all want to magnetize a whole bunch of people into our space. So, when I started to dive into this book, I really was like, this needs to be broken up, because he has some huge points. One thing he says is that people don't join a business, people join you. It almost does not matter what business or company that you represent, people are joining you. And that's why so much, and I know a lot of people on here know this, but for the people that don't, that's really why we talk about our brands, our fives list, our who we are, what do we bring to the table, what value do we have. And Mike Diller, the author of Magnetic Sponsoring, he really talks. All right, let me go through. There's a couple things that I really just want to read verbatim, because I don't think I could actually word them better than he can. I put a sticky note. There it is. Okay. All right. So in order to be magnetic or have the traits of an alpha, we really need to pick out what is an alpha, what is a beta, what is a pre-alpha. So one thing I wanted to go into, sorry, admitting someone. One thing I really wanted to go into is reading his list on the common personality traits shared by alphas. Alphas are leaders who are naturally attractive because they radiate confidence and are not concerned with outside criticism. They know exactly what they want and focus their energies on achieving their goals. They have a frame so strong that people are sucked into their reality, not unsucked. People are sucked into their reality. Everything they do reflects the rules of what is possible and what is not inside that reality. So to me, that really boils down to, um, do you have a small, limited mindset, or do you have a big possible mindset? Do you have that a space for abundance? Have you cleared your space and created a space? One example in my personal life that I'll throw out is my husband's deployed. I have 4 kids. Children are disabled. I don't really have a lot of people close to me. I really don't have any family close to me, and I really don't trust a lot of people with my children. So when we talked about Thrivepalooza, my brain automatically went, I can't do that. That was a limiting scope. I did not create a space of possibilities. You know, if you're already always listening to your world and everything in your world is defined as a no or not possible, or you're only seeing 1 or 2 possibilities, you're limiting yourself to where there are endless possibilities that you're just not seeing. You're just being blind to it purposefully. So as soon as I was like, wait a minute, if I want to go, I just make a choice to go and I figure out a way to make that happen. So I did that. I said, okay. I told my team, well, I'm not exactly sure I'm going to figure this out, but I'm going. So I made a few phone calls. I got some people involved. I bought some tickets and bing, bada, boom. I created the space to make that happen. And I think a lot of times we make life harder than it needs to be. And that's really where that beta energy comes in. I can't, I don't know how, I don't have time. I don't know. The excuses and the reasons as to why you're failing are not helping you find the successful path. It's not helping you find that magnetic space and that alpha energy that is going to attract people to you. If you're walking around with a complaint, like you're the complaint department, I don't like my daily limits. I don't like the food that I eat. I don't like my belly. Do something about it. Spend less time complaining and more time finding solutions. If you shift just your focus from complaint and you just replace the time you were going to complain, and that's a hard practice at first, especially if you're a complainer and everything, like even your mind. You don't even have to be an outward complainer, just in your mind. If you're walking around with excuses and reasons as to why your world's not going to work, you're right. I know a lot of people have heard that. Whatever you tell yourself, you are 100% right. When you tell yourself it's not possible, then you're 100% right. It isn't possible. And when it's not possible, it's just not possible. It's not going to happen for you. So then you can't be frustrated because you never created the space for it to be possible. Alphas are people who don't have that limited mindset of, I can't, I don't know how. They go, this doesn't work. How do we make it work? What is possible? So they treat themselves with integrity. They have absolutely no tolerant disrespect. They will not tolerate disrespect. They're not going to take it from people. They're not going to give it. It's just not acceptable. They actually ride a hard line because those boundaries and that integrity is a towed line. And that's really kind of what sets them apart and defines them as being so different. When people are disrespectful, in fact, they actually end up punishing it, usually by either ignoring the person or just simply removing them from their life. Another thing I wanted to read was, and this is just a little section. If you want to know what an alpha looks like, I want to read this, but then kind of say it's not always like this. I just want to caveat this by saying it's not always like this. If you're wondering what an alpha looks like, the upline leader with a team of 10,000 people is an alpha. The guy you know who gets the hottest girls, he's an alpha. The woman you admire on stage, dressed with class, dignity, and style is an alpha. The guy in the Ferrari at the light next to you doesn't give a crap about what you or anyone else thinks of him. He's an alpha. The pastor at your church is an alpha. The woman who throws the party where everyone wants to be is an alpha. I'm almost done. So to me, I think what he's really saying is we need to have this alpha energy. Actually, what he says is, and I think that this is important, which is why I needed to slow this down to several Zooms. I thought that was important. He says, I've been hold on, I'm jumping. Successful network marketers by definition are alpha. period. A multi-level compensation plan, which requires you to build and lead an organization, mandates that straight by default. So if you are looking to actually grow an organization, and that is your goal with being here in this organization, in this company, in this space, it is going to require you to harness those alpha qualities. And he talks about how your business is 90% mental and 10% execution. So if you're working on execution and you're not working on mental, you need to stop. You need to stop execution, like slow it down and work 100% for a little, at least 90% on mental, so that when you come back to execute, you are executing it the right way. Now, I'm not telling you to go do your posts and do your RCMs. What I mean is, don't focus all your energy just by executing and then running out and being exhausted by that execution. If you are not confidently walking in your execution, then you need to be learning the skills and the knowledge that you need to gain in order to gain the confidence that when you go out there and execute, you can execute it with more confidence and with more magnetism, being essentially alpha energy. So he talks about personal value level. He says, here's the cold, hard truth. The amount of money that you make today is a direct reflection of the personal value level, or your PVL. I think that's a hard pill to swallow. I think for a lot of people that's hard. Money is simply just a form of value. It gives things value. And he talks about there are three main factors that dictate how money or value. He says, through our free market system, the world dictates how much money you make according to three factors. Factor number one, competition. The number of people that are capable of performing a particular job. How many people can perform your job? Are there a lot of people that can do it? I don't think a ton of people can be alpha network marketers. I think there can be a decent amount, but I don't think every Joe Schmo in the world can, which is why we have, when we recruit people, and Courtney talks about recruiting, to recruit with intention and have better recruits so that we are recruiting the right type of people. However, the second thing I wanted to mention was education. He says the amount of specialized skill or education needed to perform that job. If you're going to be paid a lot of money, do you have some specialized skill or training? Are there a lot of people that can have that job? And then what kind of leverage do you have? That's step number three, or factor number three, in how much money you make. Basically, how many number of people around the world can you benefit? Well, lucky for us, in our business, in our company, vitamin and nutrition can benefit millions, like maybe billions. I'm not sure. I don't have the exact data on that. But we actually have a ton of leverage. So in that category, according to money, we're actually, our monetary value, we're actually set up pretty well. Not every man wants to take some other types of products out there on the market. This is a product where male, female, young and old, and everywhere in between can benefit from this product. We have a lot of leverage. Anyone can be a Lavelle promoter, but who can be a leader? Who can be a leader, a magnetic alpha leader in network marketing? That becomes a little bit more narrow. You do need some special skills to be a successful alpha. You do need to learn skills. So the last thing I really wanted to say, I know we're already running into 7:30 here, so trying to speed this up. How do you increase your personal value level? How do you get paid more money for the effort and the work that you do? Well, in order to make more money for your personal value level, you have to increase your personal value level to make more money, to have more value. Well, Mike Diller goes into saying, in order to increase your personal value level, the only way to really do that is to learn new skills. By learning new skills, you are able to offer value to others. By having a set of value and learning those new skills, you end up with, oh, my notes are getting away from me. I've lost my page. By having those new skills, you gain the knowledge and abilities that you didn't have before, which helps give you gain the confidence that you need in order to walk in that alpha energy. The more skills, the more knowledge, the more abilities that you learn, the more value you can offer people, the more confident you become, the more alpha energy you can exude, the more magnetism you can bring to you and your business, if that makes sense. So he says it's really simple. When you start doing this and gaining that confidence, you will then move towards the right direction of where you need to go, having that alpha energy. And then you'll start adopting the qualities of an alpha. One of them really being an abundance mindset. And I do want to hand it over to Krista here in a minute because I know she's got some awesome things to say. But the one thing I really wanted to harp on here was, are you feeling like you're in need? Are you living in a mindset of limited abundance? Are you like walking out into your business, walking around, I need more customers, I need more PPV, I need more QV, I need. You need, therefore, nobody wants to give it to you. The moment you walk into the world with that beta energy of needy, nobody wants to join you. That is not magnetic. That is the opposite of magnet. That is a huge turnoff for people. When you walk into the world with an abundance mindset, you come from a frame of alphas never come from a frame of need, he says. You don't need to sponsor people. You don't need people to join you. When you need something from someone, you are automatically supplicating them to them and giving them the power. You don't have the power if you don't have the power in a given situation, then you're not an alpha leader, are you? So being so consumed by constantly, it's one thing I see is, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is the right path. I don't know how to get more people on my side. I don't know. Just being in that space of questioning yourself inevitably in and of itself is why you cannot exude alpha energy. That space of being frustrated around your business not working, being irritated that no one's working the way you want to work in your teams or in your uplines. No one's showing up the way you want. Well, newsflash, no one's ever going to show up the way you want. You need to show up the way you want. If you can't show up the way you want for yourself, you can't expect anybody else to show up with you or bigger than you. So I really just want to encourage everyone to really look at your space, look at areas of your life where you are focusing on a limited abundance mindset, where you are in this tiny little box of possibilities, and really think of areas where you can really expand that just for yourself. Because I think in order to go deeper into how to being magnetic, people really need to be, we all together as a team, but individually as a team. Like I am my own team, you are your own team, but we as a whole all have to be working together to being in a space of abundance. We need to learn that we have an abundance of value here. If you don't think you offer value, then you need to figure out what kind of value you offer. Take the quizzes that are offered in the chats, figure out who you are, what your personality is, where your, what is that called? The the quiz we were doing earlier with the
Working genius.
working genius. Thank you. Figure out what your working geniuses are. So figure out what areas spark joy for you. What areas make you vibrate higher? If you don't know, take some tests, take some quizzes. If you don't know where to find those, if you don't want to ask someone, Google it. But I strongly advise that you ask for help when you need it. Go look for it. Figure out who you are, where you stand, what your areas of working frustration are, And then when we work in that and then try to learn about what is our working frustration, where could we benefit? What areas of my life could I really gain more confidence in where I don't have any? And then work exactly in that area. And really by boosting that and having that abundance mentality of just gaining knowledge and confidence, I really think would do a magnitude for a lot of people on our team. It's definitely done a magnitude for me in my life. I'm not trying to like look at everybody on the screen and be like, y'all need to work on this. But I really feel like that has made the biggest difference for me was waking up, realizing I have a choice today to be in that mindset, to be positive, to vibrate higher, and then to just be proactive and do something about it. So I would like to hand it over to Krista and hear what she has.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm barely here, but I'm here. So I'm just gonna, I don't know exactly what all that she said before I hopped on, but I have like highlighted notes everywhere. So I want to touch on a few things about like being valuable. And he even says that in the book. He said, you know, like okay, they don't want that right now. The simple truth of the matter is that I didn't have any value to offer the world. He literally came into this feeling like a lot of us feel like we don't have any value. So what did he do? He picked up a bunch of books. He went up to a bunch of trainings. He found a bunch of resources. You don't have to automatically be valuable in your own mind. Find something that interests you, take that quiz, find something that you're passionate about and that interests you, and then just study it. Like go get resources, watch YouTube videos, connect with someone else who has the same interests. People had no reason to join my team over any other because I had no unique value or skills to offer them. My big breakthrough finally came when I discovered that acquiring new skills was the only way to increase the value to others and to the world. Because then you can start to move. You get those skills, you get that confidence she was talking about. You can't become confident in something when you don't know anything about it. But the more you start to learn, the more you start to understand, you grow in it. And then you can exude that confidence. They don't know you started with nothing. These people don't know that you started from nothing, came with nothing, but you were able to learn and you were able to grow and adapt to that. They can do the same thing. And that's what the beautiful thing about getting these stories, you can show them that they can do it too. You can show them, I literally came with this and I opened my hand. I grabbed the resources that were available. I read books. I went to courses. I went to trainings. And now here, I'm here to give it back to you. Because if you can give it back to them, that's going to help them. Says magnetic sponsoring and generating attraction is about one thing, increasing your value to others and to the world. The more valuable you become, the more they will seek you out. There was another key point. If someone is looking to join you, they're looking to acquire some kind of power by associating themselves with you. Like we always talk about that. People are nosy and people want to be like you. If they feel like you have something that they want, they're going to be more attracted to that. They're going to want to ask questions. They're going to want to try to act like you on social media or in the way they talk, the way they act. So it's attractive to people. That value that you offer, they like it. They want to be like that. So then guess what? Their audience wants to be like them. And it's just kind of a little effect. The secret to becoming magnetic, again, the more valuable you become to others, the more alpha you will be. In order to become magnetic, you must increase your value. He just reiterates and reiterates. I don't know what she's doing. She's drawing. So they don't understand that it's not about them or what they'll need to spend on books, resources, etc. It's about increasing their value to others so that they may better serve more people. She's learning to draw her name. You can serve more people by growing your knowledge. He said, I'm smart enough to invest in myself to increase the value of Mike Dillard to the world, because the more valuable I become to others, the more I am pursued. The more value you get, the more value you're able to offer, more and more people will pursue you, because eventually you're going to kind of run out, just like we run out of our warm market, right? Now we have to get more value because these people, we've already reached these people. Those people have already pursued us. We have to push past that. And also at the same time, when we push past that to get new people, those other people who have been watching, they're going to be like, man, she really is growing. She really is having all these things. And that's going to become more attractive to them. I had a person randomly message me today. She's been watching me for a very, very long time. I know her personally. and she's kind of asked about it, but she's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, she's just on the fence. I bet we've talked half a dozen times or more in person, because like she's around the area. She's not physically from the same area, but we know each other and have been around each other. And she just randomly messaged me today and was like, hey, talk to me about Thrive. It's just because she's been watching and she's attracted to something. She keeps coming back and coming back. Don't stop now. Increase your pursuit of value building education. You cannot learn too much. I think that was it. Becoming a leader to others by increasing your value. Buy every single book you can get your hands on. We are taught that like till we're blue in the face here. If you haven't bought a book, at least go buy one. Like, start with one and then start with 2 and then 3 and then 4, and it'll just cycle, because the more you know, knowledge is power. Choosing the right company with the right product, the right marketing system can help you reach your goal faster, just as a sharp axe will outperform a dull one, but it will not determine your end result. That was something else I highlighted back here. What value can you bring to the table right now in the eyes of your leads? Because remember, your opportunity really doesn't matter. There are thousands of opportunities. How do you personally bring value to them? Because how many times do we get cold messaged? How many times do other opportunities come flashing at us? Because they don't know. They don't know how great our opportunity is. We need to make sure we're showing that value even outside of the opportunity, because opportunity doesn't say something. It doesn't speak to everyone. The money won't speak to everyone. The time freedom, it won't speak to everyone. It's about our whole lives being changed. So we need to make sure that we're showing that value, that we are changed from the inside, health-wise, but also mentally, because that's what really speaks to people. We need to make sure, we say that a lot, we need to relate to them. We need to make sure we can offer them growth in other areas, because it's just vitamins, right? A lot of people, that doesn't speak to a lot of people. They're like, I take my Flintstones gummies every night. I don't need your vitamins. But if we are providing value outside of that, that's when the opportunity will speak to them, because there's opportunities passed by them every single day that maybe is speaking to them more, just because we're not offering the same type of value they are. That's all I got for now.
One other thing I wanted to just say was, I have a teenage daughter. I don't know how many of you have teenagers, but over the weekend, I was really thinking about this concept of, there is no life coaching. Like, we have counselors that can help you if you have an issue. But in the culture that we live in, there is no indoctrinated sense of self-worth. We're like, go to school, learn this stuff, go to church, pray to God, or whatever your religious beliefs or not are. You learn from little, you learn the knowledge that the country says you're supposed to learn. You may have some awesome leaders that teach you a few things. But one thing that I realized that is not being taught is personal value level. And it was before I even really started looking at this book. And I actually said to somebody over the weekend, how much money could you make by having a teenager's course for personal value? Someone needs to make a lot of money with that idea. Seriously, when we move into this, into their space, all we know is that is what we know. There are areas of our life that we don't know. We know we don't know how to fly an airplane. We don't know some things. And that is an area of a blind, our blinders. It's an area where we don't see. And sometimes I feel like we just don't see how much society and just our social norms and where we grew up, where we live, our values, our traditions, the way we buy food at the grocery store, the way we talk, the way we shake hands, every little tiny thing we do, the way we breathe, the way we communicate, the way we sit down, every single thing we do has been indoctrinated our entire life. We can't hold ourselves to such high accountability when we've just never had anybody adding this value in. As an adult, we now have to learn our own core set of values. We have to teach ourselves, which is why learning these skills, doing the self-development, really working on what areas spark joy for me, what don't. And then it's so important. if we're not working on us, no one's going to work on us. We're going to get forgotten about. We're going to just, cry in a corner and everyone will forget about us because they're too busy worrying about them. So don't do that. My recommendation is to cut yourself some slack. I think we all have been indoctrinated into a culture by what we hear, see, smell, touch, taste, communicate, everything, to be anxiety, medication. I mean, it's been indoctrinated. So to just wake up and to be a whole nother superhuman who's like a monk, like that whole book, Think Like a Monk, you're just going to wake up and everyone's going to be in a space of Zen. Tell that to my 4 kids, because that's not happening here. Yeah. That's never been in our society, not on a ginormous level. So cut yourself some slack when you try to walk through something and you don't see it showing up really, really fast. Realize it's a process. Love yourself in the process. Be proud of yourself for taking step 1. If you bought a book and you didn't read the book, be proud you bought the book. You know what? Millions of people wouldn't have bought the book. Millions of people would have went, not happening. If you listen to a podcast, if you get on this Zoom or any Zoom of personal development, you really need to be proud of yourself. You have to create that sense of self-value and self-worth. You need to you need to create the value. You need to realize that you are valuable. And the last thing I really wanted to leave people with is when you go out and learn new skills, don't just think of it around your business. Think about what you love to do in the world. Somebody was like, oh, I've always really wanted to do photography. I'm like, please do photography. I'm going to stalk your page. I want that value. I'm not even your potential customer. I want that value. I love pictures. I would love to see them. Recipes, like create something amazing. If you love to cook, share it on social media. That could be your space of new skills and value. It doesn't all have to be always mindset. I definitely encourage self-developing your mindset to being magnetic and to being confident and learning. But just growing your confidence and sharing the skills that you have, are easily available, more readily available, and are accessible to you. I think will just help you get on the road to practicing how to have more skills. So I think that's really all I got. I absolutely love this mindset. I love being a part of it. If you feel like you have some value to share, make a Zoom, invite people to it. Don't ask permission, do it first, answer questions later. Why did you do that? Because I wanted to, Chris is laughing. But seriously, if you're like, well, is this a good idea? Should I go on it? Yes, it's a good idea. If you're like, it's a good idea. Yes, it is. Go do it. Stop questioning yourself. That is valuable. Even if one person finds that valuable, it's valuable. Post it, share it, like it. Be confident when you do it. Don't be like, I don't know if anybody likes this awesome, best recipe in the world, but I'm going to kind of share it because maybe someone would like the best tasting recipe ever. Like, no, this is an awesome recipe. You need to make this. Just be confident in what you do. Know that you have value and be valuable when you communicate is really where I wanted to leave people. I hope everybody has a beautiful week. And I don't think we're doing inspiration. Okay, no inspirational Zoom. Well, everybody have a beautiful rest of your week. We will see you all tomorrow on the nutrition Zoom and work with me Zooms and all the other Zooms. I hope everyone has a beautiful night.